So has everyone had a good week? The weather was on the weekend was average, wasn't it? I don't remember much past yesterday. So last week we went through, just jog my memory. So we finished our CAD, inserting our CAD file and drawing the walls, and we drew the roof, ceiling, floors, did roof by footprint and roof by extrusion. And then we started, probably in the last hour or so, we started the next project, that class exercise 1? Exercise 1? No, hang on. Let me turn this to student so it looks like what you guys can see. Because this learn page has been used since a long time ago, so there's heaps of stuff hidden that you guys can't see, but it's still on there. So we've done that AutoCAD linking exercise. We've sort of set up levels in our own projects. So now we're on the class exercise 2, simple house drawing. So last week we got up to, so we got our external walls drawn, and they're all in the right spot, and I probably haven't pinned mine. If they are in the right spot, just make sure you pin them in place. Just so they don't accidentally move on you, sort of thing. And then I just roughly drew in my internal walls, and I think that's probably about where we got to, if you got sort of thing. So this week it's going to be slightly different. It's not just going to be 3 hours of me talking. So I'm going to sort of tell you how to move walls by dimension again and things like that. And then I'm going to get you guys to sort of go around and put the doors and windows. And what else is there in here? So there's a door schedule. So we're sort of at this point at the moment, so we need to get our internal walls in the right spot. Then there's a door and window schedule here. Whoops, that's a bit far. That you can load the windows in, place the windows. There's also some dimensions here to place the windows. And then hopefully we'll put the roof on, the floor on again. And then probably, so this is week 5, isn't it? So there's 3 sessions after tonight to do. So we'll probably finish this next week. I think. So probably about halfway through, or start of next week, we'll finish this, and then we'll jump on to the last project we do. I tend to find it normally takes 2.5 sessions to complete for most people. And then if you do happen to complete it next week, there is the rendering views project. So this is just an assessment for the Tafe students that I've put on here. So you guys, if you finish early, you can, and if you don't finish early, you can access this on Learn and download it. It's just a pretty self-explanatory guide on how to render some views of this pool house in Revit. So you create these perspectives and create the renders where you get the water and all that going. So that's one that we'll probably, if we don't get to it, it's there so that you can do it at home. It shouldn't be an assessment for Tafe because it's pretty much a guide on how it tells you how to step by step pass it. You don't have to use your brain, so it's great for you guys. You can just read it from probably, you don't have to worry about part 1. That's just about file management, which is part of the assessment requirements for Revit Intro on the student side. I'm assuming all you guys sort of know about file management anyway and how important it is. Otherwise, particularly not being too complex with your file management and putting stuff in really obscure spots that only you think is really practical. So you just have, for that one, you have to look at part 2, from part 2 more so. The other thing, so this is what we're going to draw. Well, this is what you'll end up drawing in 2.5 sessions. So this really collates all the tools that we've been going through in the last couple of weeks, this project. So it'll add topography surface, or topo surface as the Yanks call it. Might have been watching some educational videos on it and just laughing at that the last couple of days. Also adds stairs, curtain walls, railings, and scheduling. So the guide that does that, it's 92 pages long. And it is pretty good Bible on how to do things step by step. So does anyone learn, like, if anyone doesn't learn by having something on the screen and would prefer something to scribble on notes and things like that, feel free to print it off and bring it for that session. You can, I think you get $2 to print stuff for Tafe, so that's probably 20 A4 pages. So I think it's $2 you guys get, or $1.
$2 per page.
It's just what Tafe charge for printing. So if you want to print it off at home or Officeworks beforehand and bring it, if that's what you sort of think is the best way to do it. But if that works best for you, sort of this one's probably not too bad, it's only 9 pages long, and most of that's drawings. So we'll jump straight in, and just if you guys want to open up that file from last week. Yeah. I don't have that file. Okay. So yeah, hand that up as well. Do you want my copy? So I'll use that copy as well. So just bear with me for a second. I'll just give Noah and Madeline. Yeah. Where does that say? So everyone else has sort of got their file from last week they started on?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No one needs a copy. Sorry?
Might not be right, but
It's there?
Someone will buy this house. It's just that it's 8 metres tall.
Okay, wicked. So what I might do is I'll show you how to fix the walls up by dimensions, and then I can just sort of wander around and help. So sing out if you need help tonight, sort of thing. I'm not going to try and run through. If it's something I feel like everyone needs know how to do it, I'll grab your attention. But yeah, a little less of me talking this week and testing the skills that I've tried to teach over the last couple of weeks, just so you can find out if there's any gaps in what you know before it's the 8 weeks up, and then we can sort of fine tune some things, or I can try and explain it again to help you out.
Can you just look at mine, please, for a second?
Sorry?
Can you look at mine for a second?
Yeah.
Because it looks like the same shape, but it's not the, you know. Like it's different walls.
So you
And different measurement, but you know what I mean?
yeah. So I don't. So I can come around and so I just don't think you change it. So I can show you how to fix that up in a minute.
Okay, thank you.
So just to show hands, who needs some help directly after? Okay, cool. So So to move walls and things like that, you've got the temporary dimensions. I do see, I don't have the dimensions. So having one screen sort of sucks for trying to read this sort of stuff, but so this room is supposed to be 3200. So you can use the temporary dimensions to do that, to move it. The one thing I see most new people do, and I occasionally do myself, is while they've got the temporary dimensions selected and shown, they'll jump in here and go, that one's supposed to be 1010. And then they go, why is that one moved? So you need to think about it systematically. So 3200, grab the next wall that you want to move, make that the 1010, and then grab the next one. Sort of move left. My process is move left to right, then up to down sort of thing. You can work out what process works for you sort of thing. That's just mine. Seems logical to me sort of thing. You can also, if I move that out of the way, under dimension, or you've got, did I show you guys the pick walls dimension, the way of dimensioning last week? So this one's, I'm starting to use it a little bit more. Normally I would have gone through and picked the faces of the dimension, like by picking the faces of the wall, and just done the entire string like that. So you can do it as one string and complete the sketch or complete the dimension line. That's handy. That's how I dimension. It's probably more handy like if this was a building that kept going and I wanted to dimension that wall there. Okay, I haven't heard that noise yet.
Someone's having a shower.
No, all the toilets at that end. Is it raining
No,
outside?
it's upstairs, that way.
It's raining?
Yeah, but it's not in that room that gets the toilet flushing. That's so the method I'm going to show you doesn't really work for if we imagine this building kept going down and it wasn't just a little one, and I wanted to show this wall here as a dimension in the string. It doesn't work for picking up things that it doesn't intersect with. So you go back to annotate and align dimension. So you've got the options to pick wall faces and individual references. You've also got entire walls here. So the entire walls one is really good. It has a couple of options. So at the moment, I've got no options selected. So it's just going to give me the entire wall. Then you can go into options. I'm not going to choose openings because I don't have any openings in this job yet. But if I wanted to select the intersecting walls, let's say, I can select the intersecting walls or grids. Grids aren't going to matter for this, but I can then select the entire wall and it gives me the dimension string of the entire wall in one click. If, for instance, I'm just going to copy this over here. If, for instance, I delete that and go back to dimension, I wanted to pick up another wall in the project that kept going or something like that, but it had a nib. Well, I can't think of a scenario like this, but something like this, you can then click the next wall and it keeps adding to the string. So you can sort of see why this doesn't work for picking up. If I wanted to pick this side up, let's say the building continued down further than it does, I can't pick that wall up in the string, so that's where the individual references comes to. So it's a bit of flicking between the two tools to actually start dimensioning it properly, sort of thing. So as you can see, that tool, when you just select it, so if I wanted to do the openings, I'd untick intersecting walls, tick openings, tick the widths, not the centers, and then it's probably not going to give me, just going to give me nothing because I've got no openings. But you can see how that creates the dimension string really quickly, and you don't have to worry too much about the accuracy of clicking on the windows properly to get the openings right. So when you get to your windows tonight, you can just put them in,
choose
that openings dimension and just bang, you've got your dimension string straight away. You don't have to think about it, almost, sort of thing. So the way that I was moving the wall with the temporary dimension before is the same as the permanent dimension. So you just select the wall. The two active dimensions sort of go blue, and because I've got my temporary dimension size set to 20, they go really big. You guys is probably still 8 mil. I just make it bigger so you can see it on the screen. And then I would say go to 24 there. And that should give us, because this lines up, the right dimension of 2190 sort of thing. And then that one should give us the right dimension because our overall sort of thing. So if you guys want to go ahead and do that, and then you can add the windows and doors. When you are adding the windows and doors, it's up to you whether or not you turn tag on placement on. So I don't really care if you tag it with numbers. I would tend to go. The one thing that probably drives me a little bit nuts about this project is it doesn't go around sequentially, sort of thing. It's probably the one thing. It goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 6, 5, 8 up the top. That's probably the one. I like that to go in a nice clockwise numbered direction, sort of thing. So yeah, just go for it, guys. Sing out if you have any questions or get stuck, particularly with the roof. So the roof, you want to make sure you use the pick wall tool. And does it say about an overhang? Probably does. And then we're going to start putting stuff on sheets and things like that tonight as well. So a 600 mil overhang should give us 450 mil eaves when you use the pick wall tool. So if you guys get to that point, I can run through that on the screen with you as well. So everyone's sort of putting rooms in their project now. So the kitchen dining room, I've explained this to some people, but it's probably worthwhile knowing for everyone else. You need to place a room separator line in to get two rooms into the same area. It's coming. We'll just give that a second to warm up. So under architecture, under room and area, so you got room where you may have gone to put some of your rooms in. You then have room separator there so you can draw whatever shape you want. It's generally just a line. So it acts like a wall, but it's not a wall. And then if I go room, you can see how I can place two separate rooms in that room, one room. So if you had a big kitchen, living, dining area, that's probably something I would do. The other thing that I might show you while I've got your attention is, according to the plan, if I can find the bit, Adobe PDF Reader is the worst thing in the world these days to read PDFs, but we have this little opening between the lounge and the hallway. Doesn't really look very big. So I would imagine whoever drew this is probably drawn it as a full height opening. So they've split the element or split the wall into two and just deleted out the middle bit. I don't tend to do that these days because you very rarely have full height openings in a hallway like that. I use so we go back to door, load family, doors. It's a door opening tool. So just creates an opening to whatever size. You can change the size here as well. That's what I use. The benefit of using that as well, so if I show you the split tool, so I go modify, split, so something like that. There's no dimension specified, then I just delete it. So if I go to place a room in this, see how it's putting a room in my entryway as well. So if I undo that, go back to door, put my door opening in, it's probably going to make a liar of me. See how the door opening sort of constrains the room to that, doesn't flow out of it. So if you haven't put that opening in there the other way, go back to door, load family, and then under doors it's structural, under door opening. It is also somewhere else as a different family type for some reason. Just use the door structural door opening family rather than anything else. You can obviously change it to be the right, like you can change edit type to make the sizes a little bit more user friendly. But you know, at Metricon that would be a 180 wall because we don't do 90 walls and openings like that. So if I was to change this wall to another wall type as well, the opening goes with it too. So yeah. So the room separator line to separate rooms, and then that door opening family to create permanent openings through walls is probably a good one to know. So I've also missed a wall on that one too. But obviously I haven't been working on this model. So what you guys want to do as well, so we'll go through. Everyone know how to create a section or worked it out for themselves? So section's a view, so we're going to create a view. So you got section there. So to create a section, the first click sort of places the arrowhead, and then the second click is so if I draw it like this, my view is going to look at the left side of my building. If I draw it like that and I was through the building, it would look at the right side of the building. If you draw it in incorrectly, as you probably guessed, you can fix it up later. It's one of the beauties. So you get the double arrows. We've all used the double arrows hopefully by now. Flips the doors, flips the windows, flips the wall, flips the section. You can also right click and flip section. So you also get the zigzag thing in this one as well. So you can break the section if you sort of just want to have it just poking through the outer walls so you don't have a big line in the middle of your project. Again, that's probably something I do at the end. Once you work out you want to keep that section. I use heaps of sections in my jobs just to draw them and see inside and all that sort of stuff, because it took me 2 seconds to draw, or not even 2 seconds to draw one sort of thing. So I just draw them willy-nilly and might have 5 sections and then just get to a point and just delete them because my drawings got too full. So next week we'll go through details and call-outs they call it, but in this project, and I'll go through the color fill, but also have a bit of play around creating a few more camera views and loading components. So you can load in some entourage stuff, you can load in some plants, entourage, so you got some boats, vehicles, people that look really bad. I think I mentioned that the first week, didn't I? But they don't look like they've updated since forever. What else is in here you can load? Have a look. So you got planting, so you can put trees in, and then you can create camera view and then change that sort of thing. So if you sort of put all your rooms in, put your windows in, got your roof to a gable end and things like that, and put your fascias and gutters, and you can put your soffit lining in as well. You just need to, when you have the gable end, you just need to stop around here. So it sort of needs to be a horseshoe shape soffit, not a donut, not a full circle. So keep going. I'll come around and keep helping people. So one other thing I'll just grab your attention for. So as you've noticed, my section at the moment has doesn't look very clear up there, but it's got a dash in the top of the circle, and then a line, and then 3 other dashes. So they're your view references. So they will be blank until you put them on a sheet, sort of thing. So once they go on the sheet, you get it, say, it'll be view 1 on sheet A101, and that. Does anyone do cross-referencing in CAD? Do you hate it?
Yes. Okay.
It does it all automatically in Revit for you. You'll never get it wrong by mistake or missing it or changing it a bit later. So any sections and things like that and callouts will reference the sheet it's on. And if you have the right PDF printer, you can use that as a hyperlink to jump to the sheet that it's on and see the view. Which to me is amazing because I hate nothing but more than scrolling down to find, particularly if you've got a big drawing set, to find the right page. So yeah, keep going at it. Sing out if you got any questions and.
The unit